Do you know the benefits of humidifiers? I know I didn't, so I did some research for this video, and they can help you with dry eye, sinus problems, getting better sleep, improving your skin, and more. We'll talk about some more benefits and 2 products that are all about improving your home's air quality and humidity. We have the SwitchBot Evaporative Humidifier with autofill and the SwitchBot Meter Pro. These devices can be used independently, but when you pair them together, you're able to take the information from this and apply it to your humidifier, so it gets it dialed in just right. So let's check out these devices along with some other benefits. This video is sponsored by SwitchBot. They did send this over for me to check out. I've used a lot of their products over the years and have made videos on quite a few of them. If you're not familiar with SwitchBot, they have a whole ecosystem of smart devices, from sensors to cameras to lighting, smart locks. They have a ton of things. SwitchBot also makes devices to help automate the things you already have. For example, the SwitchBot button pusher to push buttons for you. The SwitchBot curtains that I've been using for a while now. You have the SwitchBot blind tilt that you can add to any set of blinds. And you have smart locks that you can add to existing locks, so you don't have to remove the lock completely. In the description, I'll put links to the humidifier, the Meter Pro, and some of their other devices. Before we look at the SwitchBot Evaporative Humidifier, let's talk about a couple of benefits of humidifiers. Humidifiers can help with nasal congestion by loosening up the mucus. It can also help with sinus irritation by lubricating in there so it's not dried out. Humidifiers can also help with sore throats and nosebleeds. We'll talk about how they could help your sleep and some other things in a moment. But now, the humidifier. The SwitchBot Evaporated Humidifier with autofill is not like your typical humidifier. Most of those little humidifiers you put on a stand when you're sick, those things are ultrasonic humidifiers. And you might notice if you've used those, you get these little white powder around. Well, that's minerals in the water that get spit out using that technique. The SwitchBot humidifier uses cold evaporation technology. Cold evaporation mimics natural humidity. It brings in air through a wet filter. That filter adds moisture to the air and then it blows it out, all without producing any additional white dust or residue. The SwitchBot humidifier is not meant to put on the nightstand. This thing's meant to cover a large space. It can cover space up to 60 feet by 100 feet. Or what is the math? That's 20 by 32 square meters. The humidifier has a 4.5 liter tank that will last 22 and a half hours when it's in quiet mode, which is 18 decibels. So it's easy to have this thing going and going to sleep. If you put it in one of the higher modes, it's going to go through the water quicker, but you'll get notified in the app if it is low. You can also get notified by the little light on top. It'll turn red. That light will also change colors based on how much humidity is in the room. So you have that visual indicator. Now, a feature you're not going to find in other humidifiers is the autofill feature. Now, the way this works is if you have an S10 robot vacuum, it will leave its station, it'll go over to the water station, fill itself up, come over to the humidifier will suck the water out of the robot vacuum and will be filled. With these 2 products, you don't ever have to refill your robot vacuum and mop, and you don't have to refill your humidifier. To control the humidifier, you don't need the app, you don't necessarily need the meter, or you don't need to write automations. You can do it manually on top using the buttons. If you turn it on and you don't even set it up in the app, the controls you have are the power controls. So you can turn it on, you have your output, and you can set a timer. Now this light up here will change based on the humidity levels. The other manual function you have is sleep. The sleep function is going to put it in the lower output level and drops the sound level down to 18 decibels, which is really low. Now you can use your phone, the SwitchBot app, and Bluetooth to talk to the humidifier, but you're not going to have access to that humidity and auto function. You still can set all the other levels through it. There are additional features you get when you pair this up with a Meter Pro. For example, you put it into auto and it will take the humidity reading from this and will adjust accordingly. You can set it to humidity, and it'll adjust the output based on the temperature and humidity combined. What's great is when you put it into auto, it's going to keep it within that right humidity range. To really get the most out of this humidifier, you want to pair it up with one of SwitchBot's hubs. If you go with the SwitchBot Hub 2, you actually have Matter support for this, which means you can bring that into Apple Home. Once you have it paired up with the hub, you can control this thing with Google Assistant, Amazon Echoes, and from Apple Home. You can set this into scenes that you trigger within automations. You can use the SwitchBot app and have it automated based on other SwitchBot devices. It really opens up a lot of possibilities. You really want to pair it up with the SwitchBot Meter Pro. We'll talk about why in a moment, but first let's talk about some more benefits of humidifiers, starting with sleep. This humidifier can help with your sleep in two ways. One is if you're someone that snores. Typically, snoring is caused by either nasal congestion or dry airways and throat. By moistening the nasal congestion or your airways, less chance of snoring. Now, if you don't snore, a humidifier can help you with sleep by maintaining the comfort of the room. Ideally, you want to have a room between 40 to 60% humidity. And when you do, if you're someone that suffers from dry sinuses or dry throat when you wake up, that moisture in the air is going to help out. I've been using the humidifier downstairs, but once I'm done with this video, I'm going to move it upstairs to see if it helps with my snoring and helps with my wife's sleep, because I'm not snoring. So I'll let you know. Humidifiers can also help with your skin and hair. For example, if you live in a place like Vegas that's very dry, you may find that your hands crack or your lips get chapped. Or if you live in somewhere very cold, when it's cold and dry, you may experience the same things. Well, when you have the humidifier, you kick that up and there's less of that. A humidifier also helps with your hair. With low humidity, hair can get dried out and brittle, but more importantly, the scalp can get dried out. Then got some dandruff going on. You don't want that. Humidifiers can also help with dry eye and irritation by upping the moisture that's in the air. Now, there are a few more benefits I'll share with you in a moment, but now let's talk about the Meter Pro. The key with humidity is to keep it between 40 and 60%. That's the sweet, comfortable spot. Well, how do you know what the humidity is? Well, with the SwitchBot Meter Pro, I can tell what my indoor temperature is and the humidity. You can see it's 81 degrees. That's because I've turned off the air conditioning so I can film this, and it is getting hot in here, so I better hurry up. Down below, I have my outdoor temperature. If you buy the separate outdoor meter, you can pair it up with this and get your outside temperature and humidity. Now, you don't need to do that. You actually have some choices on this. You can change what's being displayed. For example, I can actually change it so that I can use one of the other SwitchBot sensors to tell me what the inside temperature is. Or I can leave the temperature off of this and then have a sensor upstairs and know what the temperature is upstairs. Or I can flip-flop these around. So you do get some choices in there. When you have your location set up in the app, it'll also give you a little weather forecast. It's telling me that it's sunny right now. You also have your date and your time on there. For a visual to know if you have the right amount of humidity, there's the yellow that tells you if it's too low, the green if you're in that nice sweet spot, and then the blue if it's too high. Now again, you don't have to buy the humidifier to use this. This can be used on its own and with other SwitchBot devices. Another feature of the Meter Pro is the alerts. There are 3 different ways to be alerted. You can have audio alerts with the 106 decibel siren in this. So if it gets too humid or not humid enough or too hot in the room, you could be alerted by sound. You can have the visual alert on the screen letting you know if it's outside of your comfort zone. And you could also get notified through the SwitchBot app. Within the SwitchBot app, you could go in there and you could set what your comfort zone is. Right now, it defaults to 40 to 60%. Maybe comfort for you is 50 to 55. Gotta keep that tight. Now let's talk about using this with the humidifier. In order to really take advantage of the humidifier and its auto modes, you need to have something to tell it what the temperature is and what the humidity is. So you pair it up with this, and then you can use that information to create automations so that it turns on the humidifier if it's too low, but once it reaches 60% humidity, it turns it off, or you have an automation that turns it down. You could take advantage of the automations to have it only turn on the humidifier during certain times of day. Personally, I want to have the humidifier in the meter so that it will only be on when it needs to, not just turning on the humidifier, walking away, and then it just runs until it alerts me it's out of water, or I go into the room and it feels too humid because it's been running for too long. No, not for me. I got a meter. Tell me exactly where it's at. Now let's talk about a few more benefits of a humidifier. I was actually kind of surprised by a couple of these. One, humidifiers can make your plants happier. Having the extra moisture in the air, it gives your plants more moisture to pull from and just keeps them healthier. Humidifiers can also help with static electricity buildup, which if you go to somewhere like Vegas that's very dry, you'll notice that. Or a cold winter environment is very dry and you'll notice more static buildup. Now, one I didn't expect is that humidifiers can help lower your heating costs. And the reason why is that moist air gets hot quicker and it stays warmer. A good example of that would be going somewhere like Florida. When it's really humid and it's hot, and you don't cool down because it stays hot, that moisture is keeping that heat trapped there. Too much humidity is not a good thing, so that's where it's nice to be able to regulate it and have a smart humidifier. Humidifiers are great and they have way more benefits than I realized. So definitely go check out the SwitchBot Evaporative Humidifier with autofill and the SwitchBot Meter Pro using the links in the description. Now you can get your humidity dialed in. Get that skin glowing with moisture, the hair looking good. If you made it this far, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to check out future videos. Next, you could check out this SwitchBot video over here for some more information, or you could go up here to this one. This is the one that YouTube thinks you're going to want to watch next. But either way, you got some good stuff there, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye.